Hey, welcome on to the radio, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Joel,
Ooh, I gotta turn my headphones down.
Mr. Doug Highcheck right over there. That's confused about his headphones, and then we have Alex Highcheck over there that's producing this whole thing. So good evening, everybody. And we have a great show on tap for you guys tonight. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oh man, yeah. Do we ever? This Brushy Creek story
Yeah.
is insane. I mean, right down. Can you imagine digging up a structure with a steel door that weighs 1,300 pounds, just the door, with locks on the outside only?
Wow, so they're trying to keep something in.
Oh yeah. There's no. I mean, why else would you do that?
Yeah.
But this was a construction crew, and I mean, we're going to talk about that. But I mean, there were just so many mysteries kind of piled up in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll be just amazing. I mean, from caves to strange lights to, creatures to weird vandalism, bizarre graffiti showing up. It's just really weird. Missing people, with no explanation. And then, of course, all the bodies that have been found also no cause. So it should be pretty interesting.
Wow, that is insane. So,
but the structure, and he went in this thing.
I know.
I don't know if I'd do
spooky
that.
is that?
I wouldn't. I don't know if I would. I mean,
I don't know. I'm pretty brave.
But think about the rock.
Yes, maybe.
There was a rock structure, guys, on the outside that to me looks like a Bigfoot carved. It's quite detailed.
Interesting.
And that was also buried. And who knows how many, long it was buried. He even researched the door where it was made. So he'll be getting into all that stuff.
Yeah. Sounds awesome. And good evening, everybody that's in the chat room, by the way.
Good evening.
Good to have you all here with us. So it'll be a lot of fun. High strangeness.
Yeah.
Oh, plenty tonight.
Yeah. And speaking of high strangeness, I'm going to have my oldest daughter on tonight. I don't know. Is she in the green room in the backstage, Alex?
I told her to come on around like 7:10.
Oh, okay, fine. But she's got, just even one of her stories is really bizarre. Have you ever heard of a tree attacking somebody, almost killing them?
Only on Poltergeist.
Well,
boom, that was it, man. I've never heard about a real actual tree.
No, this tree attacked her literally on cue. It's quite a story. And of course, she's got the plates in her arm and all that to prove it.
Oh my good Lord. So it really did a number on this poor young lady.
Oh God, yeah. Yep.
Wow. Damn.
Well, she'll be here in 10 minutes to tell that story, which, when I first heard it, it's like, I can't even believe it. And boy, was she lucky.
Yeah, right?
Super lucky.
Wow. Man, I couldn't imagine just minding your own business, walking by a tree, and next thing you know, it's attacking you.
You know what's a bigger mystery, though, is why my computer always reboots about maybe an hour before the show.
I don't know.
So I'm not aware of it, and it shuts all of my apps that I have open.
Must be a setting.
I don't know. I'm going to have Alex, you're going to have to come over and figure it out, because, boy, is that irritating when you have everything set, and then all of a sudden...
It must be a Mac.
Yeah.
It is a Mac.
It might be scheduled for updates. We'll look at it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what's going on.
It's just
scheduled
nuts.
for updates. I don't know. I mean, who knows?
6:45 p.m.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it could reboot while we're on the air.
It could. You just never know.
That wouldn't be good. Would not be good.
It's the two of us idiots.
Well, it would leave us, and that'd be all right. But anyhow, Doug, what do you want to talk about for the next few minutes? Come on, you're always a wealth.
Oh God, I have tons of stuff. First off, I never do it, but I get, we get a lot of letters. We never read them. I thought I'd read one.
Okay.
Just for fun. So a listener writes from the UK, England. Hey, Doug, hope you're well. And the boat is doing good. I found it humorous that he mentioned the janky pontoon. So I've been telling people it's the world famous.
It is the world
legendary.
Famous. Now it is.
Janky.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary janky.
Legendary. Yeah.
In fact, somebody said to me yesterday, I was out boating in it. And they said that's the
Where's
Happy Madison boat of the lake.
the Happy Madison boat? There it is. There goes the budget again.
Yep, there it was. So anyhow, but okay. So he says, hope your boat is doing good. I'm Luke from the UK. I listened to your podcast, which led me to Monster Quest. Ha ha.
Yeah, look at that.
He goes, the opposite of most people. He goes, I find the way your interview is awesome. Also, you had a guest who questioned Sasquatch or other cryptids in the UK, and you corrected them and explained how deserted some places are here. Apparently, approximately 90% of the UK is Greenland, so I think a smaller variety of Sasquatch is credible. We seem to have a lot of dogmen, hate the name, he says, sightings going back a long time. One of the reasons, he says, is the Romans struggled so much with conquering the UK was due to encountering wolf-like people. I'd never
Interesting. I never even knew that.
I didn't either.
Wow.
And he goes, anyway, I'm just a massive fan, and you sound like a guy I could go have a pint with and listen. Take it easy, man. Luke. So anyhow, I just thought it was a creative, cool letter. Plus he's giving me compliments.
Well, yeah. I mean, anytime there's, giving you compliments, it's a good time.
So anyhow, so other than that, I was reading today, they found mountains, it says, talk about clickbait. Mountains of sugar have been found under the ocean.
Oh, sure.
Mountains.
Who doesn't know about the sugar mountains under the ocean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Sounds like the dreamland for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
It would put you to sleep, Alex. Totally. He'd be snoozing, man. He gets sugar. He's like,
yeah. It does the opposite to you,
Alex?
Alex?
He comes over for dinner, Alex does.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm looking around and he's gone. And I look and there he is on the couch.
There he is sleeping.
Every time.
In the fetal position, sleeping.
Yeah. Sound asleep. Oh, you're not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Okay. So it says researchers from the Max Planck Institute for Marine Microbiology report that mountains, Joel and Alex.
How would mountains of sugar get into the ocean?
I don't know. This is just so worded so bad. Have been discovered hiding underneath seagrass meadows across.
And go boo once in a while. Or?
Yeah, across the entire world's oceans. So it's everywhere.
Evidently, there's no sugar shortage.
No. So if we need sugar, we know where to go. But apparently these seagrass meadows that are over the top of mountains, remember, mountains of sugar, capture more carbon. It's like 35 times faster than forests do.
Huh.
So
interesting.
And how in the heck does, the ocean capture carbon? But then I thought,
how does sugar, like granulated processed sugar, are we talking? What kind of sugar are we talking here?
Well, sucralose, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's naturally
sucrose.
Naturally occurring sugar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, but I just think we should start a sugar mining operation.
You should.
Yeah.
You really should.
We'll call it sea sugar.
Yeah, there you go. You can have a whole market now because sea salt, took off.
Yeah, that took over. Sugar. Hey, I can't even find anodized salt hardly.
Look at that.
It's all
and so now you can have the whole, sugar industry cornered with your sea sugar.
And people, you should comment. Do you like sea salt better than iodized salt? Because to me, it's much saltier. So I'm just curious what people think about the sea salt. They're using it. Like you go to the restaurant, they sea salt everything. And oh my God, it's so salty.
Salt everywhere.
Because the cooks think it's the same amount of salt.
Yeah. And then there's that Madagascar or whatever, pink salt. I can't remember whatever they call it. That's pretty exotic. All sorts of salt out there, man.
Can you look up how salty is sea salt compared to regular salt? I mean, flavor-wise. I'm curious.
I guess you don't have to do like the Pepsi challenge with it. And have people try it side by side without letting them know which is which and kind of do a, one of them.
Speaking of the
Mayo Clinic.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex. Say what?
Oh, it's the sodium content of sea salt and table salt is identical, 40% when measured.
Oh, I know, but I'm talking about the flavor of it. The
flavor.
taste. Apparently, you don't need as much.
Maybe it's kind of to the beholder of whoever's tasting it.
No, I know I'm right.
Well, I'm sure of it. I'd rather do the tequila and salt challenge myself.
I know I'm
suggested
right.
by Bill, but
Well, I suddenly noticed like 5 years ago, all the food started getting saltier and saltier. And then I realized I put some sea salt on some. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you have more salt and then you drink more water, or what have you.
Apparently, okay, get back to the mountains is the last thing. I'm not going to comment anymore on the mountains of salt under the ocean. They said there's enough there, enough sugar under these, these seagrass mounds or whatever, to fill 32 billion cans of Coke.
Geez, that's a lot of Coca-Cola.
That's a lot of sugar.
That is a lot of sugar. It's a lot of sugar. There's a lot of sugar in Coca-Cola.
Am I hearing a cat?
Yeah, you are.
Is somebody busted?
Not my cat.
Is somebody busted with a cat? Did you get a new cat, Joel?
No, it's the same old cat.
What's his problem?
But he's just down here with me because he's been he's aging.
Well, we could have a cat mascot.
Yeah, which is just normally he doesn't do this, but he is. Yeah, exactly. Meowing back there.
Did you do that, Alex? Yeah, you did. Look at this.
So I do apologize.
No, you know what? When our cat was getting old, he just wanted to be with people like 20.
Yeah, and that's what's happening now.
It's almost, I think when they go into the maybe dying mode.
Yeah, what is he, 14, 15 years old, this cat?
Yeah.
So he's getting to the end.
Hey, just heads up, Alyssa is in the back room.
Okay. Well, anyhow, let's pop Alyssa on and get her to tell one or two.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
With the cat screaming in the background. Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's our mascot, cat mascot.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, Alyssa. How you doing?
Hey, Alyssa.
Good, how are you?
Good. How about you?
So
good.
So this is Alyssa May.
That's my name.
That's what I call her. Anyhow, obviously, it's your birthday coming up.
Yep.
That's why we named her May, because she was born in May.
Gotcha.
So anyhow, go ahead. You've got a really strange, I teased a little bit, strange story about a tree. And I told them the tree attacked you. So go ahead.
Okay. So it was just a Saturday night, summer night, and had a friend over. We were just going to hang out on the patio, talk. And then we were just talking. It was a perfectly beautiful night. It was like no breeze, nothing. It was just nice, clear night. And all of a sudden we heard first off, we were talking about how nice the night it was, and the tree was nice. We were talking about the tree because it has like a nice canopy that kind of hangs over the patio.
Yeah, right.
And so we were just talking about that. And then while we were talking about that, all of a sudden, and I said, well, yeah, I love this, but it really needs to be trimmed because it's going to start wrecking the roof pretty soon here. And then we heard a twig snap. It sounded like someone was on the side of the house or something. So we both looked at each other and were like, what was that? Because it sounded like someone stepped on a twig, It was loud, kind of loud, but not loud, So we're like, well, maybe it was just a squirrel. And then all of a sudden, huge crack sound. And I look up and this tree is just barreling down, like huge elm tree, towers over the house. And I don't know what it's like to have your life flash before your eyes, but I thought, oh, this is it, And then I dove out of the way. My friend dove the other way. I dove towards the house. They dove towards the garage. And they landed, and I was like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, are you? I go, yeah, I think I broke my arm, though. And so...
Okay, well, let's back up.
Okay.
So you said you need to trim the tree. It was just, wasn't it just seconds? You started hearing it crack?
No, it was within this conversation. Like we stopped the conversation about trimming the tree because we heard the twig.
Mhm.
And we were just
Jesus.
looked at each other like, what was that? And, we just
Dang.
brushed it off. And then like 5 seconds later, it was like, just, that was it. And it was just weird because we were just talking. We were literally in this conversation.
Wow. So, okay. So this thing's coming towards you now. You're actually looking at this giant trunk.
I'm looking at this thing just barreling down on, and I don't even know how I even thought to dive out of the way it was happening. It happened so fast, and I was like a ninja.
So you dived out of the way, but it still got you.
Oh yeah, I still broke my arm and had to have a plate and some pins put in there. But the funny thing, and a good thing about this as well, because I had actually broke my arm. Like my wrist, I broke my wrist. So I broke my wrist like a year and a half before that. And I had a cast on it, but my wrist was a little bit wonky. Just something wasn't, it wasn't normal. It was fine, but just sort of wonky. But yeah, after the plate, it works good as new now.
Okay.
Better than it was, yeah.
So the moral of the story, guys, don't stand under a tree while you're talking about trimming it.
That could be good.
May not want its arms cut off.
That's true.
True. Like, think about it. What if you were standing there and I said, "Hey, I think we should trim his arms off and his legs off." You might attack too.
Yeah, but at least you're okay. I mean, aside from that, thank God.
Well, yeah, and also, 3 good things came out. Nobody died. The tree got trimmed and the insurance paid for it. So it took up the whole yard. I mean, it was, we had to have a crew come out there and clean it. And they were like,
Dang.
They were shocked. They were like, wow, that you only broke your arm. Cause they're like,
yeah.
I mean, I could have easily died. If you would have seen the yard and everything, it was just a disaster. And only the fence got a tiny bit damaged and the garage got a tiny bit damaged, but I took the brunt of it, I guess.
Wow. That's amazing though.
I mean, this was something that affected you for a long time. I mean, this broken arm and.
Yeah, I mean, it healed up fine. And like I said, it's better than it was the last time I broke it. So
that's good. You remember.
Yeah. So thanks, tree.
So, so let me tell the audience, I've got 6 kids and every other one has kind of had these weird, kind of weird paranormal experiences throughout their life. But every other one hasn't. I mean, they're just as skeptical as, they've not seen anything. Never had anything happen to them. Except if they're with one of us. Except if they're like Alex only had one because he was with his brother. That has them all the time.
Blaine.
Correct?
Yeah.
And so, and I don't think, like Josh, he had 2 of them, but he was with me. And that happened over a 2-day period. No, actually, he did have one when he was little too. But once again, he was with me. But
wow.
Since he's been, on his
own.
So
half the high checks have strange things happening to them.
3
The
of
other
us.
half do not.
Yeah, 3. And Alyssa was blessed. So why don't you, get into another thing? Because I know you've had a lot of, let's talk about, the repeated night terrors that you've had. The strange things you've seen.
Yeah. I'll just tell one quick story of the first paranormal experience I can remember. And I was about 6 years old and I had this childhood friend. He was, a little boy I went to school with. And anyways, so we had sleepovers. He only slept over my house once because he was afraid of my hamster running on the wheel. So he left in the middle of the night. I slept over his house a lot. So one night I slept over there and we were just gonna go to bed, whatever. We were playing with some like Transformers toy. You can project stuff onto the wall. I just remember that. I don't know why. But anyway, so we went to bed and his mom came and got us at like, I don't know, sometime in the middle of the night and was like, okay, there's a storm, the sirens are going off. Let's all go down in the basement. So we were, going downstairs at the basement and I was the last kid. It was this boy and his little brother and me. And I stopped. It was like a split level house, so I stopped at the level right before the, you could see into the kitchen, and it was right before you go down the stairs. And I looked over and I see this little boy standing there. He looked like he was about, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, and he had blonde hair, and none of the kids there had blonde hair. And he was just standing up against the counter, just like looking right at me. And I was a curious kid, but I was also really shy. So I kind of tugged at his mom's robe, and I was like, who's that? And I was like, can I go talk to him? I don't know why I wanted to talk to him for some reason. Maybe it's because he was just looking right at me, but I was like, and she's like, she looked at me like I was crazy. And she's like, you're at so-and-so's house. Do you know where you are? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but who's that, boy? And then I looked over and he was gone. But I saw this kid and it was solid. I mean, solid as it wasn't like, transparent or anything like that. You could just look like
he looked real. He looked totally
like just like a little
look
kid
as solid as you and I. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah. And he was just standing there up against counter looking right at me. And that
Yeah.
I always remembered it, like, and I was confused because we all went down the basement then, and she was confused, like, what the heck is this kid talking
The
about?
ghost I saw looked just like us too.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
just as
like
solid
you.
as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you knew that it wasn't in the right situation or context.
Yeah, this person wasn't. I didn't know he was dead yet when I talked to him until
Oh,
after the conversation.
that's very interesting.
Yeah. So it was like, what? Wow, that's nuts.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be a little disturbing. But
Yeah, I've heard numerous stories where people talk to dead people, and you never talked to the kid.
I didn't talk to him. I wanted to. I was like, I felt like drawn. I just sort of felt like I wanted to talk to him, and I don't even know. I was like curious. And then we went downstairs, and I remember nobody was really talking. We were only downstairs for like maybe 10, 15 minutes. The sirens went off and everything. And I just remember sitting there like thinking, I was like, what the heck? I was like confused. And I wasn't like, I think she thought I was like talking in my sleep, or I was half asleep, but I was awake. And I still, I mean, it stuck with me. I mean, I was only 6, but I remember it clear as day because I was very confused by it. And then
got traumatized at the same time. It sounds like.
little, I was just
still
like,
sticking
what?
with you.
Yeah, it stuck with me.
So, so you've seen also, I mean, we've had a few guests, I think 2 or 3 in our last 80 episodes of shadow people, and you've had experiences yourself where you've had entities, you wake up and you swear you're awake and they're leaning or in your room. Do you want to give us an example?
Yeah, I've had plenty of times where I wake up, the typical paralysis thing, and I feel this feeling of just dread and like fear, but you can't really move, but I'm struggling to. But then there's these, like, one time there was like 3 figures standing over me. I couldn't make out any like details of their face or anything. They were just sort of like humanoid type figures. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I've had this happen a few times. I had it, the corner seeing something in the corner of the room, like looming, and you can feel it. I mean, we all kind of have that like instinct of when someone's looking at you, even though, you just kind of have a feel. You can just tell. I don't know.
But they didn't touch you or do anything. Do you have no memories of that?
No touching. Just the feeling of dread and very scared. And then there was just another period where I was having this, and I just kept feeling like something was trying to, like, I don't know how to describe it, just pulling me out of my body. And I kept trying to fight it, and I kept trying to fight it. Like, it was because it just scared me. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. And this went on for like off and on for like months. And I finally just said, okay, I'm just going to let this happen. And then that was not a fun idea. But because it looked like, and it's, who knows what it is, but it was like the typical old hag thing. It was like this scary, decrepit, scary lady being thing. I don't know what it was. It was a hag looking, but it screamed like laughing, screaming in my face, like right at my face.
Man.
And but I will say one good thing is I wasn't waking up with that feeling of the sleep paralysis anymore. But during this period, I was also like seeing like I would wake up and I would just see these like it looked like giant spiders. I know it sounds everyone said that it sounds crazy, but I would rub my eyes. I mean, I was like, why and it was like during this same period where I was having this sleep paralysis. Maybe I was just really sleep deprived, who knows, but it was a rough period.
Try to explain it away. Do you remember the time where you saw this? We were at the state fair. You were probably, I'm going to guess, I could carry you easy. So,
I guess that might have been my earliest memory.
4 or 5, maybe.
Yeah.
And there was either a food truck or a carny truck, where you play games. But it was
a fun house.
It had a picture of a frog.
It was eating a man.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't.
The frog was eating a man. It was painted on the side of a fun house.
I just remember a frog.
Yeah.
But I remember it freaked you out so bad.
I remember that.
And to me, I didn't think anything, it's the fair, the fair is. But you went into a very hysterical, almost like it was a memory. I felt like it triggered some memory because I've never, ever, ever, to this day, I've never seen a child go that hysteric. I literally had to grab you, carry you, hug you, and run.
Yeah,
out of the fairgrounds.
You carried me out. I that's my first memory. Okay, and I remember the frog. I remember it eating the man, and I remember freaking out. I remember like flipping out. I remember that, but I honestly don't remember why I did. I couldn't tell you. I just remember for some reason I just freaked out, and I don't know why, because I used to play with toads in the backyard. I wasn't like afraid of frogs or anything,
Yeah.
No, but it was eating a man though.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think that was it. No, as I remember, the frog was center stage. If they had a man, it was tiny.
Gotcha.
If there was a man that was eating it. It didn't. I don't even remember.
It was eating a man. I guarantee you 100%. I remember. I know I was very young, but I remember things. I don't know how.
That's what it triggered in you. Because I don't remember the man.
No, yeah. You probably were paying attention to me, trying to like, what the hell is going on? And I just remember it was a frog eating man. Okay. And that's what I remember. It was painted on a fun house. They paint wacky things on those things, But that's what it was. And I do remember freaking out. And I do remember you carrying me out of the fair.
No, I ran.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I remember you asking me like, what is going on? Like, what happened? Like, why are you you were freaked out that I was freaking out and you couldn't figure it out. And I didn't know why I was even freaking out, but I remember freaking out.
Crazy. Well, anyhow, so we've got to go to a break. We're going to bring Eric on, the producer of, oh my God, why is this title killing me? The Beast of Brushy. What is it? What is the title?
The Beast of Brushy Creek.
It is the Beast. Okay, Brushy Creek. I even actually made a mistake once and called it Bushy Creek. And Eric quickly corrected me. But anyhow, Eric's amazing. If you want to stay on, Alyssa, that's great. If we can handle the bandwidth, and let's go to break.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys. So we've got Eric Palacios, and he's a producer and filmmaker that has worked in public broadcasting in Austin, Texas for over 15 years. In 2020, Eric released a documentary detailing the strange events occurring near the Brushy Creek in central Texas. Some of the more unusual activities include discovering ancient Native American burial mounds and sightings of the hairy man. As of 2022, 7 bodies have been discovered in or near the creek. The Beast of Brushy Creek, the documentary, is available on Amazon Video and Tubi. So welcome aboard, Eric.
Hey guys,
Hey, Eric, how you doing, man?
doing good. Thanks for having me.
There he is.
Yeah,
There it is.
not a
The
problem.
beast. There's the beast of Brushy Creek right behind you. I won't have any problem.
You got it. It's
remembering
right there.
at this point.
That's it.
That is nuts. I mean, just the intro. I mean, let's kind of dive into it. What's going on over there, man? I mean,
A
I'm
lot
hearing
of
about
stuff.
doors and secret
Yeah.
passages and monsters and dead people. I suppose.
Missing people.
Let's just take it to the top.
Yeah, sure. I guess really what got me, I wasn't really trying to produce a Bigfoot documentary, so to speak. I was more just trying to produce a documentary about all the strange and weird things that were occurring in my area. And unknowingly, it kind of led me down that Bigfoot rabbit hole. And I'll get into that a little bit more in detail. But just to kind of give you guys a background on where I'm at here, I'm actually in Central Texas, Williamson County, which is part of the Balcones Escarpment. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. It's pretty much a miniature Grand Canyon. You can see it from space, actually. It's it starts a little bit south of San Antonio and it stretches all the way up almost past Dallas.
And this is an area full of limestone, as I understand, and
Limestone,
karst.
absolutely, a bunch of limestone. I mean, it's a bunch of caves. Like I believe the last estimate was like could be 3,000 undiscovered caves out there, is what they're saying.
That's nuts.
Absolutely, and the first, I believe it was in the 70s, the oldest skeleton that was ever found, complete skeleton, was found along the Brushy Creek in a place called Leander, and they called it the Leanderthal woman. I think I was like 75 or something like that.
She was 16,000 years old, as I remember.
I believe so, yeah. And that was right along the Brushy Creek, so people have been living in the area for a really long time.
Yeah, that's an old settlement.
Absolutely.
That may be the oldest, isn't it?
It could be.
There's another place called Blood Run in South Dakota that goes back, I believe, 8,500 years ago.
Okay.
And that's right on the border of Iowa and South Dakota. But 16,000 blows that away. It's twice as old.
Well, the other thing too is I don't think I didn't put this in the documentary because I actually unfortunately learned about it afterwards. But in 1976, when they were digging up some Native American burial mounds along the Brushy Creek, they actually discovered an ancient Roman coin at the bottom of one of these Indian burial mounds.
Really?
Yeah. And the way they took it to the University of Texas, and the professor at the time just really gave the most asinine answer I think he could have. And his response was that what happened was it was a World War II veteran coming home from the war, had spoils of war, and was walking along the Brushy Creek and apparently dropped one of these ancient coins that they had collected. And a rodent grabbed it and burrowed it down underneath. It's all really.
Well, that seems a little convoluted.
And who was the tribe? Have they nailed down the tribe?
So in my area, we had the Tonkawa tribe.
Okay.
And the Tonkawa tribe was a really unique tribe. They didn't really socialize with the other tribes in the area. They had a lot of really interesting practices. They were covered in full tattoos. I'm not sure if any other Native Americans in the area.
How did they know that, though? How did they know about the tattoos?
Well, they found the bodies, I believe. I'm not sure if there was any flesh on there, but I know it was documented because a lot of their tribe had moved to Oklahoma. They were forcibly moved to Oklahoma around that time.
No, so in other words, the tradition just continued.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. And again, with their rituals were really strange. I believe they buried their dead feet down, and they also had a ritual where they worshipped the wolf, like a giant wolf. And every year they would dress as a wolf, and they would perform these rituals along the Brushy Creek. And so, we have the thing that really got my eyes opening to this was in 2014, they discovered several of these ancient burial mounds about 50 feet from where I grew up, my childhood home. And unfortunately, in Texas, we have a really strange law where the construction companies can hire their own anthropologists to come out and explore the land. And so that's exactly what happened. And they said, you know what, nothing to see here. Just go ahead. And they covered it right.
That's awfully convenient.
They did? Oh, they did? They just.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Partially covered it. Well, most of it's covered. There is a little section of it, a little sliver that's kind of like a bird sanctuary, I believe. But
Okay.
most of it has been like covered up. The part where the burial mounds were, the Brushy Creek is still.
But they didn't dig it up, but they just covered it.
They did dig it up partially, and there were anthropologists there, and it was confirmed that it was an ancient burial mound. And that's in the documentary. I show the news reports of when they discovered it. And even the police officer was saying they contacted the FBI. The FBI said that it was most likely an ancient Indian burial mound.
Oh, wow.
So that really got my eyes open, because I mean that was about 50 feet from where we grew up, and we, growing up there, we all had some strange stories and stuff like that. But this was just kind of, we weren't expecting that to happen.
Is it possible that there's more burial mounds that extend in a huge area where
Absolutely.
they haven't just discovered it yet because of all the karst and all the
100%. In the documentary, there's a scene where I'm along one of these areas that is under construction, and I'm talking to the construction workers. I have a camera, and then I have another camera. They didn't really know I was recording at the time, but I asked if I could record, and they said sure. So I'm walking around talking to people, and one of the guys goes, I asked him, about Native American. He goes, "Oh, this whole effing thing is a Native American burial mound." That's what he said. Those were his words, and that's on camera. He says that, and they found many relics. I believe they were the Tonkawa tribe is actually famous for making the atlatl. It's kind of like a bow and arrow device. So I believe they found several of these atlatls, not arrowheads, but atlatls themselves, which were made, a primitive way. But it would, that was a little advanced for a lot of the tribes in the area, having something like that. The atlatl.
Yeah, I mean, God knows, at some point, I think there's going to be some big discoveries that some of the natives had some pretty amazing technology a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to kind of get the audience so they understand, there's kind of a laundry list of things we're going to go through. Satanic activity, missing people, dead bodies that seem to be almost covered up the reason that they died, because you've never ever gotten any explanation.
No.
And you did a really good job. I was going to say, Eric, you really did an amazing job, because I know how tough it is to recover any of this information. But the thing that freaked me out the most, and we can save that for maybe the end a little bit, is the structure that was uncovered. That is freaky. I mean, that freaked me out.
I've had nightmares about that place, honestly. We might save that for a little bit towards the end.
Yeah. Let's save it a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of I wasn't expecting to find that.
No, the whole thing was crazy, and the great work you did to uncover how it was constructed.
I appreciate that.
And I was impressed, because you just didn't skim over it.
Well, that means a lot coming from you, Doug. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you really dug deep. And let's go ahead and just talk about the first thing. What was the first mystery that caught your attention?
So the first thing that really got my attention was in 2016, about 2 years after they discovered the burial mounds.
Eric, sorry to interrupt, Eric,
yes.
But just let me know whenever you want me to share any of your photos.
Sure.
I'll throw them
if you want to put any of those like greenery up as I'm talking, like the creek or whatever, feel free to do that.
Is there a way, Alex, to put them up just so it cuts you off and so we can still see Eric, or you have to just kind of take over the screen? That's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So really the first thing that kind of got my my eyes open to the subject was in 2016. We were named one of the top 10 safest cities in America.
Okay.
Oh, very cool.
And that same year, we had 3 bodies pop up in the Brushy Creek. 2 of those bodies were in a 6-day period. And unfortunately, the first body was discovered right near that ancient burial mound where it was. And it was really strange, because they found the person there. His car was 5 miles away at a local car wash. So no one's really sure how he got there, what his intentions were there to begin with.
And how do you go from a car wash to a creek?
Absolutely.
Abducted.
Yeah. And the thing is, the police were called and they showed up on scene, and it's in the documentary. One of the key investigators said, this is unusual, finding a body in this creek. This doesn't happen all the time. And so, unfortunately, they found that body, pulled the body from the creek, and they said that it was, at the time, there was no trauma or foul play suspected.
Right. Isn't that the case in every body they found? They always said no foul play.
Everybody they found, they've said there's been no foul play, no trauma. So, and they've never released the cause of death publicly. They say they're going to update the public once, autopsy is performed or anything like that, but it's never happened.
Yeah,
That was in
no foul
2016.
play, but you're floating in a creek.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Right.
okay, how deep is that creek?
The deepest part, I want to say maybe about 30, 35 feet at its deepest parts. There might be a couple of pockets that are a little bit deeper.
Have you investigated where they found the bodies so you know kind of the depth?
Absolutely. I'm very familiar with that area. That area is a pretty shallow spot. I mean,
Right.
I don't think it goes past 12 feet, to be honest with you.
But it looks like you could leap over it in some places.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
Absolutely. And this right here is a little bit, it's in the summertime. When it's in the summer, it always gets a little bit lower. Right now we're in the middle of a drought as well, and it kind of exposes some things. And you can see from that picture, there's a lot of boulders, a lot of crevices, a lot of brush. I mean, curtains of brush that really block out the sun in certain areas. And I mean, it's a great place to hide if you're looking for a place to hide.
I can only imagine.
Absolutely. And
so didn't they find, excuse me, another body then in the fall of that same year?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few months after that, they found a body. They never released a name. They never released the sex. They never released the race. They never released the cause of death.
That's weird.
In the Brushy Creek. And again, they said they were going to update the public. To this day, we have no idea who that person was. And then 6 days later, they pulled a body from the creek right next to the town monument here, which is the Round Rock. It's a big round rock, kind of like King Arthur's Round Table. It comes out of the Brushy Creek. It's a beautiful structure. But they found a body. Is it
man-made? Is Round Rock?
No, it's 100 natural. It's natural. It's absolutely natural. Okay. And that's why it's so odd. You pass the creek and you see this big old round.
Can you find that, Alex? Round Rock.
Yeah.
Kind of a round rock right in the middle of the creek.
Right in the middle of the Brushy Creek. And so it was weird because they discovered that body right by that area, which is, it's not a heavily trafficked area, but it's not deserted. So there are people that go through there. And again, they never released the cause of death. We did get the identity of this person. He was in his 40s. So to me, it doesn't sound like natural causes just to go out there and, die of whatever.
Yeah. So
exposure.
So
or
young. Yeah.
Do we have a picture of Round Rock that the town was named after?
That's it right there. Yeah.
Huh. Look at that. It does look like it was, could have been man-made, but no, you say it's natural.
It's an interesting structure. And honestly, I think the Native Americans, they use that as kind of like a spiritual landmark, if you will. Like that was a sign to them, because I know some of the cultures in the Southwest, they would use, like in Mexico, they would use cactuses and eagles, like the Mexican flag. Certain symbols would be used, and I think, my opinion, that's what it could be, some type of symbolic reason they picked the Brushy Creek. And the Brushy Creek, the Native Americans actually called it the land of good water, because it was just a beautiful place to live, fresh water. They had everything they needed in the area. But to get back to the bodies, so there was 3 bodies in 2016, the same year we were named top 10 safest cities in America. In 2017, they actually discovered, someone live streamed the discovery of a body, unfortunately, right where the first body was discovered. And that person, we didn't get a name, we didn't get identity. All we heard was there was, a body found there. So to this day, again, 2017, it's been a while. We never had any information about that. In 2018, this one was a little weird because it doesn't really fit the pattern of when the other bodies were found.
Yeah.
There was a body that was discovered in December, and it was a little bit further from the Brushy Creek, but not too far. It was found in a pond. And again, for that one, I believe they said it was a man. I could be wrong, but they never released a name, age, sex, race, anything like that.
Why do you think they're not releasing anything? I mean, what's your thoughts?
I've been wondering that, if it's just a suicide or whatever, I think they would have released that. Or if it was a drowning, what's the harm in saying he drowned, or something?
Well,
like
exactly. At least let the public know why these people are dying in this area.
Right.
Generally speaking, they normally release something, of what happened to this person.
And you would think after an autopsy was performed, they would release it to the public,
Right. Yeah.
But that, that's not the case, unfortunately. So that happened. Go ahead.
Well, let me just stop you right there. Do you think it is a deliberate cover-up by officials, or do you think it's just
that's a really good question.
Lack of interest.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lack of interest. I've learned some more information. I'm not sure how deep I want to go into that, but one of the bodies I did learn about that actually one happened in 2021 in November 6th in a very rural area, and I got information directly from a source that's in the agency there that said that it's the same thing with this, so no body, or I'm sorry, no name, age, anything like that, and they said that another state is involved with that one. And that's all the information they gave me. And that was in November 6th. And they said they actually said it was a suspicious one. Okay. They said they would be releasing autopsy. They'd be releasing a name. That was November 6th. We haven't heard anything yet.
And it's been a while since November.
It's been a little while. Yeah. But to get back to the timeline here, 2018, they pull a body from the pond. In 2019, one of the more unique cases happened, I think. Again, this is right in the area where the guy did the live stream of finding the body, where they found the original body where the guy parked, 5 miles away. In that same area in 2019, an elderly man went missing, and they found his body in the creek there, in the Brushy Creek. Now, the area he was found is a heavily barbed wire area. Okay, he was in his 70s, I believe. In my opinion, there's no way he would have been able to scale that barbed wire fence and get down to the creek and then just die.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was fleet of foot and was able to scale that thing, get through it. You're talking about a man in his 70s, not exactly probably the most athletic, peak physical condition here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can imagine when they just say no foul play, that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
That just means there's no evidence of foul play.
But
then again, oh, really? You just die? You just end up in the creek every time? These people, you would think they would go, oh, there's kind of a pattern here.
Right. And most people would say, maybe serial killer or something, but I'm kind of, I'll get to that in a second here, why it gets even weirder. Okay. So in 2019, the elderly man was found. In 2020, there were no bodies discovered. That could have been because there was a lot of issues going on in 2020. But in October of that same year, there was a girl that went missing. And Doug, I think I mentioned this to you. There was a girl that had gone missing. Okay. She went missing along the Brushy Creek. And
it was a young girl.
It was a young girl that went missing right along the Brushy Creek. And she was last seen carrying an antique Victorian doll and a blue suitcase.
Yeah. Okay. When I heard the blue suitcase, and this is actually going to mean something to some people I see in the audience, I and other people have been doing research on the color blue and not only missing people and also, but objects that I keep finding at these tree structures. And that kind of led me to go, why do I keep finding blue things at these complex tree structures? How was one blue balloon, one blue piece, a toy, one blue block, one blue, it's always one thing usually, and it's always blue every time. Blue.
Sure. Alex, I'm not sure if you have any of those headlines that I sent you. Maybe if you could pop a couple of those up just to show, it's really weird. They're all different. They all have different dates, but they all say the same thing. Body found in creek, body brushed in creek. It's a really odd thing.
And the police mums the word. It sounds like
pretty much. So
that say nothing.
Yeah, so that young girl had gone missing along the creek, and that was the last we had heard, that she was carrying a antique Victorian doll and a blue suitcase. Now, if you're camping out there, I don't know if that's the essentials you would really need to, be roughing it out there. So it's all really strange. Luckily, they did find her, and she was all right from what I understand. But I've heard from an unconfirmed source that she's a little bit different now. Unfortunately, she's not all the same as she was. So I'm not really sure what that is about, but that's what I've been told.
So what's going on? I mean, is anything happened in 2022 or in 2021?
So 2021, they found a body in November 6th.
Oh, jeez.
And that was in a rural area, a pasture. And this is the one I told you where I spoke to the department there, and they said that another state was involved with that one. But again, this one was the same pattern: no identity, no sex, no race, nothing like that.
Yeah, and that's recent. That was only 5 months ago.
And this one, they didn't say anything about trauma or foul play, but they said it was suspicious and they were investigating, and they would make their efforts known, once they had that. But that was in November, and we haven't heard anything since. Now, you asked about 2022. Friday the 13th, a couple weeks back, they actually found another body on the opposite side of where the original bodies were. The most recent body that was found, I'm not going to say it's an industrial part, but it is a little bit more occupied, that area. There are, anywhere you are in Round Rock, you're going to be about 0.5 miles away from a creek. That's just the way it is, because the Balcones escarpment, there's creek runoffs and river runoffs almost everywhere in Central Texas. It's unbelievable. Seasonal creeks and what have you.
So, what photo would you like us to put up, Eric?
Let's do the. Let me see here. Really, any one of these. Do you want to? I think you guys already showed the.
Let's go into the caves and the actual kind of the geology of the area.
Sure, yeah, you can show that cave right there. I should have mentioned that actually. So
Isn't that part of a sinkhole? This one, where it just
that was in 2018, and we get those all the time. We get sinkholes in this area all the time. That was in 2018, right off Brushy Creek Road, actually, and it was a sinkhole. The last time I heard about it, it had 12 chambers. They never found an end to it. They never found an end to it. They sealed it up the best they could, and I believe they put like a water tower or something over it.
Why would they do that?
I have no idea. And actually, Doug, to be honest with you, this area was guarded 24 hours a day. They were not letting anyone in there. They had and there was kids that had tried to attempt to go in there, and I believe they were citationed, or not arrested, but they were citationed out the area. And it was really strange. And there's a video on YouTube of them first discovering the cave. An archaeologist pops up after exploring it, and he says, "There's a breeze down there." Like,
well, yes, so there's got to be an exit.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a breeze, generally there's a lot of these caves. I don't know if you've done a lot of spelunking. I have, and you get into these caves, and a lot of times they're quite small, the openings, and you just keep going and going. I've gone as much as 3 miles into unexplored caves, and it's freaky. And you'll be like up to water will be up to your waist, and you'll just go for mile after mile. And then all of a sudden, it'll open up into a big cathedral.
Oh yeah. You know, and we get stories of that here. Actually, in the area, we have a cave here called Breathing Cave, where it's said that you could throw a 2x4 in there, and there's so much air that comes out, it blows the 2x4 out of the cave.
Jeez.
And the University of Texas did a study on this area. They dropped some instruments down, and what they concluded was that it's almost like a gun reaction. That they said there's a larger chamber underneath that forces air into the smaller chamber, and it creates this force. But their calculation, they were puzzled by their calculations, because they said that the structure underneath that smaller one would be the size of a stadium, like millions and millions of square feet. So they were wondering, like, are their calculations wrong, or is it a structure that's really that big down there? You know, it's really strange and odd. And not far from this area, a few miles up the road, we have a place called Inner Space Caverns, which was discovered accidentally while they were digging up the highway. And that area is just you can go down there and check it out. It's an amazing cavern system structure. Many of those are off limits. Many of the cavern areas are off limits, but it just goes to show you, in Central Texas, there's just so many undiscovered, unexplored caves in the area. It's really
a lot of strange
honestly, I think we might have one of the largest undiscovered cave systems, apart from like Mammoth Cave or something like that.
So, and then there's also tons and tons of shallow ones that may, if you dig them out a little bit, they could lead to huge chambers.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you would see some of these, and I mean, it's unbelievable. I meant to send you another one. It was a giant sinkhole that I discovered while I was in one of these areas, and I'm not sure if anyone else had found that, but I mean, it's just, you got to be really careful when you're walking in that area, because sinkholes, it happens all the time. There are holes that you could get your foot trapped into. It's a really, interesting area.
Has anyone got into any of these sinkholes or anything to
only the officials, to be honest with you? They're the only ones that have been given access to it.
And they're really not saying much, are they?
So Round Rock, we'll talk a little bit more about caves, but Round Rock is surrounded, because of obviously the creek, and they want to protect it, but it's surrounded by a lot of green belts, I guess you would call it, correct?
Oh yeah, very much so. We have, some beautiful green belt areas, and they go for miles and miles untouched. I believe so actually leading back to that, the Balcones escarpment, the Brushy Creek, if you follow it back, it leads into the Balcones Canyonlands, which is a national preserve, federal preserved park, if you will. And this place is really strange. Okay, it's I'll tell you how strange it is. That it opens at 8 in the morning, closes at 4:30. No one's allowed to stay overnight. You're not even allowed to walk off the trail. No drone footage is allowed. And then it's closed Saturday and Sunday. Why would you have a national park? That's normally when people go, during
the
the
weekends.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
normally
It's closed Saturday and Sunday. It's not even open 8 hours a day. Everyone has to be out before the sun goes down. It's a really odd and strange place. And you follow the Brushy Creek back to these areas, to the Balcones Canyonlands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really odd and strange place. And there's a 1901 account of a bear man of Marble Falls that apparently this was covered in 3 of the biggest newspapers at the time. It was 1901, I believe. A woman had been taken by a bear man, is what they said, taken to one of these caves in Marble Falls. And she was able to escape and what have you. But where is that cave supposedly at? It's there in the Balcones Canyonlands. And it's off limits, So it's just a really odd set of circumstances.
Yeah, there was that little boy who was also taken. He said he was, he was missing for a number of days, below freezing temps, and he said he was taken care of by a bear.
I heard that, yeah. Yeah, this one was crazy because the San Francisco Chronicle actually came out to Marble Falls, Texas, to interview the family.
Yeah,
and we have a name, we have a date, we have the people that were involved with the encounter. So it's all really strange, and it's there again in the Balcones Canyonland, which is I've been sent stuff from that area that's it's just really, really creepy and weird. But everyone's probably wondering, how does this equate to Bigfoot? Everyone's probably wondering that, and I can talk about that.
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into that because that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, absolutely. So while researching these the bodies and stuff like that, like I said, in 2016 there were 3 bodies alone. 2016, same year we were named Safest Cities in America, and so that year, 2017, the next year, there was a lot of Bigfoot activity, hairy man activity. Just to give you a little bit of history on my area, the Brushy Creek, Williamson County, has had a history of hairy man sightings dating back to the 1800s. There's actually so much activity in one area, they named the road Hairy Man Road. And that dates back to the 1800s when settlers that were traveling through the area were chased out of the area by what they described as a wild hairy man. And there are accounts dating back to the 1800s about that. It got its name officially in 1965 when a group of kids were out there hanging out. And one of them, the one who encountered this thing, was a high school football star. And he was stranded in the area, and he claimed that he was chased out of there by what he described as a wild hairy man.
Well, can you tell us about the book, Rich Little Poor Boy?
Yeah, Rich Little Poor Boy.
Yeah, Rich Little Poor Boy.
You got it, yeah. Wow, you've actually done some research on this one, Doug. Right on. That's great. Yeah, so it was written by the local postmaster in the area. And what happened was that the person who lived off of Hairy Man Road came into the post office wanting some letterhead for his business or whatever he was doing there. And there was, at the time, it wasn't named. This was, I believe, 1966, 1965, right after that happened. And he said that it was, oh, yeah, the kids just call that Hairy Man Road. And the guy was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to call, we're going to use that. Yeah. And so after he did that, apparently it was officially named Hairy Man Road. And the city got a lot of blowback from the old timers. In the book, it says that, he had to fight off the old timers after this because they were saying, don't talk about it. What you're doing is you're stepping on holy ground when you talk about it. And this is in the book. Yeah. And so they fought in tooth and nail to get it removed. C.D. Folks was one of the names that was in that battle to get that name removed. And he's like a local legend in the area. There's a middle school named after him and all this other type of stuff. But they were not happy with that name on the road. And yeah, that's really what the book was talking about. It was a postmaster who lived in the area for several years. And he described a lot of the strange stuff that was going on in the Brushy Creek as well. He talked about how it was really up until the 40s, the Native Americans were still like seen in the area, which is really insane. But yeah, it's all really interesting. And getting back to the Bigfoot thing, so 2016, they did find the body. In 2017, I was saying there was so much activity going on in the area, so many sightings. It's kind of hard to believe, but Alex, I sent you that poster. The FBI, it's a fact 100%, put out a wanted poster looking for Bigfoot in the area. That's it right there.
Wow.
Now, we know this came from the FBI because there was a name attached to it. And we know that person was the head of the FBI in my area at the time.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, it's almost joke-like, having Patty out there.
Yeah, I mean, they could have used like Harry and the Hendersons. They could have done like a drawing, but they put Patty up there, the Patterson subject.
Okay, let's can we read what it says?
Yeah, it says last sighting at Brushy Creek Regional Trail located in Round Rock, Texas, made loud demonic-like howl. So, I mean, if it's all a joke, why, they should have been like, picking flowers or, prancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the bottom, it says armed and considered extremely dangerous. If you have any information concerning the person, please contact your local FBI office or your nearest U.S. embassy or consulate.
Was there actually a number and a name you said?
There is a name. Absolutely. There's a name attached to this. Yeah. And that's what made this interesting is you can trace that name back. And I sent Alex the thing on there. It doesn't have a name on there, but I believe it has the credentials of the person. So this person was in charge of classified information.
You can put that up, Alex, as long as it doesn't have a name on it.
Yeah. It's like I think it's on the left corner there, Alex, from what I saw. Yeah. Try the next one.
Oh, the next.
Yeah, it's all the way on the left, on the bottom there.
Oh,
that's the one. Yeah, yeah. So if you can see that right there, it says direct physical security access control safeguard of classified information and safety of over 10 overt and covert secret facilities. That's the same person who put that.
Wow.
Put that out there. Okay, so this guy was the real deal. He's not out here.
Yeah, it's a legitimate article.
And if they were to put that out there, they would lose a lot of credibility. I mean, people have to answer those calls. People have to, I have yet to find another, poster or article like that where the FBI is joking.
Well, there's been a number of cases where I know the FBI has been involved in not necessarily Bigfoot sightings, but animals that have been torn in two.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting because, I'll probably talk about that here in a second. But again, for me, this is kind of the smoking gun. People have always wondered, has the FBI been in the hunt for Bigfoot? I mean, it's right there. There's a wanted poster.
That would suggest absolutely.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's really hard to debate. To this day, like I said, I haven't found one about like aliens or UFOs or anything. This is the only one and this was right in my area. And again, this was right after bodies had been found. So if they're just kind of making a joke about it, that's in really bad taste, honestly.
Yeah. Either way, it's bad.
Right.
It's bad if the FBI is actually looking for witnesses. I mean, that's kind of interesting. That's bad. And it's bad if they're just making fun of it.
Right. But the crazy thing is, like I was telling you, that was on June 23rd, right? That same day, the BFRO has an account of a sighting in that same area they were searching at.
Wow.
So I'm not sure if that inspired the FBI to put that out there or if they're just trying to propagate some type of false narrative here.
Yeah, could be.
It could be, yeah. And then there's another account the day after, the 24th, stating the same thing, sighting near, Brushy Creek, whatever, from a motorist. So there was two sightings, and then I'm not sure if that triggered the investigation or whatever, but there was a lot of activity. A footprint was found. People were seeing things. So much activity that I think, they had to be involved. That was right around the time of the cave-in as well. It was right around that time.
That's strange.
And then if you guys guess what happened a couple months later, they find another body. So
and release no information.
Release absolutely no information. Even though the guy live streamed it, a person live streamed the discovery of this body. They didn't, to this day we have no idea who that person was. If it was a man, woman, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that kind of, that's a smoking gun right there.
The thing is, if you want to get to the bottom of it, you're definitely going to put their name out there, because then people are going to come forward and go, "Oh, yeah, that person, I knew them, and they had some weird stalker after them, or they're going to get information."
Oh, they had a drug problem, or something like that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you think? Why? What's your thoughts? I mean, obviously, you've had to come up with some type of hypothesis of what's going on here.
Yeah, it's really hard to state. I think there is something here What it is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that could be, but there is something here. It's been here for a really long time. I mean, this is really the perfect place. You They could hide in, you can hide in a cave all day and come out at night, and
Mhm.
who knows?
Mhm.
Or you could lead this creek all the way back to the Balcones Canyon lands, and you'll be safe, all day, all weekend. No one's going to be there.
I've got a question for you. If I started walking down Brushy Creek, just kept following it, and does Brushy Creek flow north or does it flow south? I would imagine south.
Yeah, it's southeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I keep following it, where does it merge into? What river?
I believe it merges into. Man, I'm not sure. I think like one of the not the maybe the Sabine River. I could be wrong
Okay.
about that, but I know
Which
the
is
Sabine River
a
is
Bigfoot hotspot.
absolutely 100%. Yeah, and I
That's
know
what I
this
was
is,
getting at. Yeah, I
yeah.
just wondered if
I
it led to another
I
hotspot.
believe that's where it leads to, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to have to get into that and talk a little bit more about that,
Yeah.
maybe even privately. Okay,
Sure.
so let's go ahead and jump into this construction crew.
Okay.
We'll come back to Bigfoot again because there were some footprints found and so
There
on.
was a coyote tied into a knot that was found.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So let's jump into the
Sure.
crazy building structure.
Yeah.
And can you first, just tell us how it was discovered?
Yeah, absolutely. So originally what I had done is I had found some really strange graffiti that was like 7 feet long, really long graffiti. And I had no idea what it meant. It looked like it was some type of numeric or a
Oh,
binary
was that the
code.
binary code?
Yeah, it looked like
graffiti?
binary code. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and so I reached out to a friend who knew binary code and was an artist as well. And I said, "Hey, have you ever seen anything like this? What is it?" And after about a week, he says, "No, I couldn't find anything about that." And then a couple days after that, he goes, "You got to see this video my brother sent me." His brother was a construction worker, and he sends me this video. It's in the documentary of these construction workers near the Brushy Creek unearthing this unbelievable cavern structure, stone structure that was covered with dirt and branches to hide it, obviously. Uh, and they're terrified to death as they're digging it out. The first thing they see is a gigantic stone face that's about 5 feet tall, with not human features. The features are very elongated and very strange looking. So they discover it and they're terrified. They don't go in, and you see this big metal door. Um, they're absolutely terrified. It's in the video, and they're heard saying how scared they are. They're saying, "No, I'm not going to go in there." And after he sent me that, I was like, "Oh, do you know where it's at? I wanted to get an interview with those guys. It was made clear to me that those guys didn't want to go back to that area. And so after about a week of scouting and using some GPS coordinate stuff, I was able to find it. I wasn't expecting to find it at that time. And so once I found it with my friend David, we made the dumb decision to go in there.
Oh yeah, so they wouldn't take you there. They were obviously religious.
Yes.
And they were afraid. Did they tell you anything about the locks or what the door was made out of, or did they give you any details before you went up there?
No, I only spoke to the brother. I was trying to get the other one to talk, but he was not interested at all. He didn't want to even think about that.
Well, see, you have to understand, most people, when they do a doc, they don't deliver like you delivered in this. Not only do you find it, you go
It's
in.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
It took about a week to find.
This construction
yeah.
crew.
Yeah. It took about a week to find it. Yeah.
Oh my God. And it was open.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they had dug it out. So, okay.
They dug it out. Yeah.
All right. So tell us about that last 50 feet while you're.
So so we go inside, and we never found the end of it. There was just, you could go up, you could go down, you could go sideways. There were so many little cracks and
describe.
tunnels.
I know, but describe it before we get inside.
Oh, describe the
outside.
itself?
Yeah,
okay,
the outside.
Sure. Yeah. So the outside is a stone structure, stone on stone. I'm not sure how old it is, but to get down there, looked like there were almost steps that were placed to get down there, and it's a stone structure that kind of goes, a semicircle around.
Right. It's in a deep hole.
Yeah, it's a very deep, and the top is it kind of hangs over just a little bit, and on the side of it is a giant stone face that has like tattoos on it. Like there's one here, it's like got markings on it. It's like a long face, long nose, really long teeth.
But to me, it looked like a Bigfoot.
I mean, it looked very weird. It could be, yeah.
Like a cartoon.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the other thing is they drew like lines, and to me, the lines simulate hair.
Yeah,
they drew the lines like
the hair, the huge nose, the broad nose.
Yeah. And then the eye, like the bridge, was like a really thick bridge they had here.
But I was surprised you didn't bring up that.
Well,
it looked like a Bigfoot to me immediately.
I try not to think of that place anymore. But and then the door was a gigantic steel door rated to handle a nuclear blast. Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. And we I did a little bit of research on the door. It was a Mosler door. Mosler was made. They made vault doors, and it was a pre-1950s door that was there, and it's framed out like it's over 1,300 pounds. So it took a lot of effort to take it down into this area and install it into this cavern system or whatever, you know. And the other thing is, you know, a lot of people were saying, oh, that's just a bomb shelter or a storm shelter. It had breathing holes. It had breathing holes at the top and the sides. So that the bomb shelter theory goes out of the window when you see that. It had breathing holes, absolutely.
Yeah, nobody would ever do that for a bomb shelter.
Right. And it only locked from the outside. There was no way. So if it's a bomb shelter, if it's a bomb shelter,
lock it from the outside? Yeah. It's like they're keeping something in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of is they're keeping something in there. And they buried it. They buried it as well.
Were there any marks, or did you film the inside of the door? In other words, had any locks ever been installed on the inside?
No, it didn't look like it. I did film the door. Yeah, it was all smooth. And I mean, it was, you know, time had got to it, but I didn't see any indication that there was a lock from the inside at all.
So try to picture just getting that door there.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. In the middle of nowhere, and you have to lower it at least maybe 10 feet. Install it. You know, it was framed out and everything. I mean, what purpose was that for? You know?
Exactly. In other words, okay, let's just say it was military, because it was military style build. The military is not going to do a rock carving.
Right. Why? Yeah. To me, that's almost like a warning sign, you know, like don't open this door.
Yeah.
Look at this thing, you know, like, I don't know. That's just my opinion, but it's a big, scary, ugly looking face. You know,
I would say that's one of the weirder things I've ever seen, Eric.
But it was also underground. They had to excavate this thing.
No, exactly. That was one of our questions. I'm sure everybody has. Was it excavated or was it a natural cave?
I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. The inside is a cavern system. That's a fact. It's like a cavern structure that, you know, again, we didn't find the end to it. We were limited with our gear. I didn't think we were going to find it that day.
Would you be willing to go back with a team of people?
That's a really tough question. If they're more qualified than myself, I would take people there. Right. Doug, I've gotten requests to go there. I've even been threatened by people saying if I don't disclose that location, I could be serving 5 years in the federal prison.
Why?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've gotten other threats while working on the project. So, I mean, I would be willing to take the right people out there. Going inside was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. It was just me and my friend David. That door could have shut and no one would have known where we were. You know, it terrifies me to this day.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I saw that and I went, what in the hell are you
Doug,
doing?
would you go in?
Not alone, not without maybe 4 people and a good rifle.
Yes.
No way in survival gear.
Yeah. But some of the like, again, we were throwing rocks down there and you could hear them just kind of go down into these little holes and little sinkholes.
And of course it's darker than dark in there.
So it's pitch black.
Flashlights.
And at the top there was a big structure. It's in the documentary. There's a big hole in the top. Spiders were just coming out like rain. It was unbelievable. Like,
okay, well, let's imagine it was to keep something in.
Something, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Did it look like it would hold something? I mean, the door would.
It would definitely hold it. And if there was dirt buried on top of it to seal it up, that might even be a little bit better. But again, there was so many other little tunnels and little areas they could have just, it could have slipped away into one of these little tunnels or whatever.
You think it was more of a tomb?
Do we have any photos? Do you want to share? Do you want to just?
I don't think I sent any to Alex, but if you give me a second, I might be able to send some here. A tomb is a good. Yeah, that's I mean, I have no idea. Yeah, it's all.
Well,
really
can you describe the locks? Were they old or were they new? Were they strong? Were they fresh? Were they?
No, the locks they looked pretty old. They look newer than the door. I'll say that. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, the whole thing looked old, to be honest with you.
Did you look for a make, like who made the
lock?
Oh
yeah, I know who made it. It was Mosler was the company that made it.
Mosler made the locks.
And they had been in business since the 1800s.
Yeah.
And again, they make vault doors. That's what they're known for.
Well, don't you think that was a vault door?
Yeah, absolutely it was. And what is that doing in the middle of nowhere in Central Texas? They're not protecting
right?
Yeah, they're not protecting.
Well, normally, if you make a vault door, you're trying to keep people out.
Oh yeah.
Not hold something in.
Absolutely.
God, it was right out of a movie, dude.
Let me. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull up one of these pictures here, guys. Give me a second.
Yeah, pictures of the door.
Yeah, it's a picture of the door, pictures of the face as well.
And who do you remember the name of who made the door?
Mosler.
Yeah. No, the actual door too was made by.
Yes, they were both Mosler. Yeah, it was a Mosler lock, Mosler door. It was like an all-in-one unit essentially.
Yeah,
from what I saw. Oof. Yeah. Okay, give me a second here. I think Alex, I'm gonna go ahead and send you this one.
What are your thoughts on this, Alex?
I mean, it's definitely freaky. You send it to me via Messenger, Eric?
Yes, I just sent it right now.
Okay, I'll get that.
Hopefully that it's enough to see the door and the face there. But again, I mean, what was the purpose of that? I've been trying to figure that out for a long time.
God,
the only thing I can think of is it was a prison for something or someone, like it's.
But then why hide it? Why hide it?
Exactly. Why hide it? Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Unless they're trying to keep something inside that they don't want anybody else to know about. And the only thing we can think about that would need a 1,300-pound door would be a Bigfoot.
Right. And that face, to me, the face is like, why would you put that? What is the point of that?
Yeah.
There's no point of that. Makes no sense at all.
So the face is carved out of rock.
And it's a 5-foot face. The face is huge. It's like a totem face, essentially.
What do you think it took to carve that face?
Many hours. Many hours. Yeah. The craftsman.
And it's limestone, correct?
Yes. Limestone? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a limestone that they carved and just really they worked the face into the wall.
And they buried it. That's the funny thing.
And they buried it. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, they buried it. Like they wanted to make sure no one ever found it again, to be honest. That's what it was, the idea to me. They didn't want anyone to find this place.
Did you find the picture, Alex?
Do you want to double check and see if it was sent, Eric? I'm not seeing it come through.
See. Oh, it looked like it's still sending for some reason.
Well, it's probably high res.
No, it's a crappy little picture. Let me try to send it again. I just took a screenshot of one of the videos that I had.
Maybe you can Eric share it, Alex? Yeah, there's a share button.
Certainly, there's a share button. If
you try that, Alex. I think it went through.
Okay, it did come through here.
Sorry about that. I don't know what the deal was.
No problem. And then,
I can share it. I do have a video if you want to see that, but it's a short little clip of us walking down in there or whatever.
Sure.
But it's up to you guys. Whatever you guys want to do.
Let's see the photo first, and then maybe if you want to play a clip, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the
There you can see the edge of the door.
Yes.
Steel door, steel frame, and the locks are on the outside. The only locks on it.
Right. You can see one of the breathing holes right there next to the face.
Yeah.
God, it's creepy as hell.
And there's the face. Do you have a picture of the face so people can either? I really do want to have them put the comments in the bottom below the feed, the actual comments, not in the chat, but in the comments on what you think the carving is.
Okay, I'm going to take another picture of the face here, just to kind of show you the size. I have my friend. It's going to show, how how
Better
robust this thing is.
put Eric back on
Oh yeah, sure.
so he can share his screen.
Oh, did you want me to? Yeah, I can do that. If you
Yeah,
want me
just
to.
do it. You do
Okay.
it. Sure.
Let me see. I don't know what I need to do that.
At the bottom, there is a share
Oh,
screen
okay. Gotcha. Share screen.
right next to settings.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any luck?
I think it might want me to reset my settings in order to.
Oh, okay.
Here,
Well,
hold on. Let me see. Well, are you able to see that, Alex?
Alex might have
Yep,
to give you
here we go.
permission.
Yeah. Okay. I'll push play on it. So this is us walking down into the area that we found the cave. Let me see it.
The thing is,
Oh shoot! Can you see that still?
what you don't, what you don't know, Eric, none of us know, is how vast
Yeah.
and the amount of work that may have gone into building
Right?
this.
Clicked on.
And that was all buried at one
For all
time,
you know,
right?
this thing covers a square mile. For
Yeah,
all you
that's.
know,
I think it just froze up on me.
So this is all buried underground at one time.
it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the
Wow.
point of that? Like they put effort into it and then just to bury it? Like
Yeah.
what's the point of that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure why it froze up, but
No, it's okay.
might be my computer.
Okay. You
did
can
send
see
you
the
that other
face. You
picture,
can see
though.
the face right by your
Yeah.
elbow there.
Yes. Yeah.
It's 5 foot. It's got, big
Yeah.
lips, very, very broad nose.
I sent you another one, Alex, just so you can see the size. My friend David is going to be.
Oh
scanning
yeah,
it,
this is
but-
great. I'll
Yeah.
get this into the.
Do you want me to quit sharing? I don't know what I need to do.
Yeah, you have to stop sharing. There we go.
There you go. So
Okay, just take me a second.
yeah, but I mean, it's puzzling to think what was that used for. It's.
Yeah. Well, was there
Weird.
anything in it when you went inside? Was there any
I was barren.
anything?
Was there any sign of anybody had been in there?
I hadn't. No, I mean, I don't think there were bones in there and a lot of bat scat.
Mhm.
But other than
Bones?
bones, yeah, there were bones in there. Yeah,
Like
there were bones.
human, animal?
I don't know. They didn't look human. They looked more animal. But I'm not a anthropologist or anything
Yeah.
like that. They were small bones.
Okay, so I'd love to hear the comments. Obviously, you can do it in chat, but we really want them permanent in the comments below. Do you think, and anybody in the future watching this, do you think that could possibly represent a Bigfoot?
Well, I don't know if you could put that up again real quick, Alex, but you can see the lines.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
The lines kind of look to me like they're simulating hair.
It looks like hair.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
And look at
absolutely.
like the top, the ridge and everything. Like it's just a.
I'll bet you that thing, if it's 5 feet, that
Yes.
thing is going to weigh 1,000 pounds.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a heavy thing. Yeah.
Nobody does that for fun.
No, it was intricate. It was very intricate to do that.
And so the locks on the outside, the possibly, I think it's a Bigfoot. I don't know what you guys think. I've not seen anybody commenting yet on it, but this could be a Bigfoot
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah, I mean, I've. That's a good point. That's a good way to put it. A good Bigfoot prison. Yeah. I mean, there's no that if you want to hold someone in there, you don't need a vault door to do that.
No.
It's the regular person.
Oh, heck no.
So that vault door is overkill, in my opinion. So I don't know, unless you have something in there.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
a big
capable.
steel door.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have a close up of the door? I want to see that. We want to show everybody the door.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it here.
No, I think this wall was completely put together and stacked
Mhm.
Yeah.
and cemented. Do you think it was there concrete?
We can
It
see
looks
the
like there's
mortar
some
and the
type of
bricks.
mortar there. My
Yeah.
computer's running a little glitchy now. Trying to do
And remember, limestone is what they make mortar out of.
Okay.
So it's hard to see it. It's pretty much when it all kind of comes together. Put it this way, to concrete together limestone works really well.
Yeah. I mean that could be where they got the material. I mean that would make sense. Absolutely.
That's a pretty intricate base.
Let me try
And
to
it,
pull up
it could be
another.
natural too. I mean, it could be kind of chiseled out. Nobody knows. I tell you though, Eric, there's got to be more done here.
Well, I'm working on the next project for sure, because there's been more information that I've discovered, and honestly, some of these families they don't agree with that they're being told. The families of the people, unfortunately, that have been.
Oh, I bet they
passed.
don't.
They do not
I
believe.
wouldn't.
Yeah, they don't believe some of this stuff.
If somebody, if there was a body, of somebody I knew, or a friend, or somebody in my family, I would never tolerate.
Right.
Oh, it's just no foul play.
Oh,
And that's the
Absolutely.
end of it.
Well, I mean, I mean, some of this is like 6 days apart. You find a body, and both of them are not suspicious. Like, you're not releasing any information to any of them.
This cave or what have you that's got the big steel door. I'm assuming that's on state property, or is that federal land, or where's that located?
He might not want to tell you.
Yeah, I'm not going to say exactly where it's located. It's
ownership.
It's in my area. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble, but
I don't think he wants to tell you.
It's definitely in my area, near the Brushy Creek, and it's like I said, people have told me, if I don't give the area the location, I could be, could be in a lot of trouble.
No, I'm not asking for exact location. Right. I'm just curious.
It's in a place you wouldn't be able to find.
Is it privately owned or publicly owned?
Joel's not going to give up.
It's there's a lot of private land in Texas.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, very interesting.
I'm trying to find another picture of this door here, guys. Give me a second.
Now this is fascinating.
Okay, here's the oh shoot, what did I do?
Well, we know that the face was not made by Mother Nature. That was obviously carved. And it looks like to me it's a constructed wall. I
mean, there's people even in chat that's saying that they were.
I could see where the mortar lines are, where they put it together, how it was stacked.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's first opinion is, it's a bunker or a root cellar or something.
You don't put a picture of you don't put a 5-foot statue of Bigfoot on the outside of a bomb shelter, and you don't have locks on the outside. You have them on the inside.
Well, you got it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and send you these 2 clips here. Hopefully they do a little bit more justice. I should have sent these earlier. I totally slipped my mind.
It's a holding cell of some type.
Great clips here. And
I didn't want to just bombard you with all the craziness, All right, I sent you some more here. But again, I mean, the breathing holes, the door locking only from the outside.
So I still haven't seen anybody make a comment, even in chat, on what do they think this statue is, the carving. Do you think that could be a Bigfoot? I think it is.
I mean, the only thing I've seen that's similar to that are like the totems and stuff you see in Alaska, like it's similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar, in my opinion. But I know a lot of those totems are used to depict, Sasquatch or these other entities.
Yeah. So Jen in chat said, those windows are probably 7-8 feet tall.
They're up there. Yeah, they're up there.
So who can look out a 7-foot
window? Yeah,
okay.
So that's one of the pictures of the door. You can see it says Mosler there. And I mean, just a heavy.
Look at those hinges too.
What is that? 2 inches thick?
Yeah, I sent another one showing the thickness. I think it's more than 2 inches, maybe. But you can see the greenery, like when it was buried, like that, all that greenery, the patina, like when the water was hitting it and stuff. I hadn't seen sunlight for a very long time. That's the door right there, probably about 2 inches thick. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I'm seeing there, but on the end of the door, I mean, that looks like that's almost 4.
Yeah, I can see where they would.
It could be more
to come up with the locks. Those
holes.
Yeah. Is that hole for a bolt to go? No.
Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, I'm trying to see where the locks are in relation.
I mean, you can see that.
Look at the frame.
Yeah, it's heavy duty.
That's a big, heavy door.
Mm-hmm. Just to get it down in that area, I mean, you can see the picture at the beginning where it shows like how deep it is and like how you have to. It's not a big space, you have to manipulate that in there. It's not going to be easy with just a couple of guys, moving a couch. You put some effort into that.
Yeah, wow.
There's another one of the doors right there.
Okay, I'm going to study the lock.
Mm-hmm. Is that common? No, it's not common.
No, you would have to put a wrench on that to lock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I believe somewhere on the side or in the front, it says Mosler somewhere. Very faded. It was really hard to see. Yeah. I don't think we got a date on it, but from all the research I found, it was pre-1950 because Mosler went out of business, I think, not long after 1950.
There you go. Right at the top there.
Yeah, Mosler,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's just insane. Yeah, that's got to.
That would almost place it maybe during the Second World War.
Yeah, it could be.
No, there was only one door.
That vintage,
Yeah, I really want to go to a locksmith and see, hey, what do you think? What would it take to do this?
Yeah.
Do you think that this thing, or the reason it was built, was for a bit? I mean, did you come to that conclusion also on your own, like a year ago? I mean, did that go through your mind too?
It did go through my mind. I mean,
the
FBI has been out here looking for Bigfoot. We've had a history of Bigfoot since the 1800s. Like, I mean, it's why else would you need something like this? Why do you need a big face on the side of it?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? You're trying to scare people away from this area. Like, don't open this,
Yeah.
And then they buried it. They covered it up. If they're going to be using it frequently, why would you do that? Makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me.
Are there any more photos of the inside? Let's get into the inside. Maybe you could even try your video again.
Yeah, let me see. I think I might have one from the inside. Give me a second here.
Could have been something that's gone wrong.
The inside is a little bit dark, but I think you should be able to see.
Eric.
Someone. Yes.
Does any of it have sound?
Does any of it have sound?
A video.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Turn it down. Might that help?
Well, no, we have Eric to narrate it, so we don't.
Well, there we go.
Sure. Okay, let me see if I can get some of the insides showing here. All right.
And then I believe Alex can play the trailer too when we get done with this. He can play the trailer for your doc.
Okay.
Do you think it was buried to cover? Obviously, it's buried to cover something.
That's the wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it was buried for a reason. It was obviously buried for a reason.
Yeah, it's either the government buried it or the people that built it buried it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you said it took you a number of days to find it.
Yeah.
Do you think you just got lucky in even finding it, or do you think?
No, I think I got lucky finding it. Yeah, I did get lucky finding it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too much into detail about it. It took me over a week to find it. I was using GPS stuff as well, like just little coordinates, trying to figure it out.
How did you catch wind of its existence?
Well, from the graffiti, contacting my friend, which is weird because it really had nothing to do. That's kind of the strange thing is like researching this stuff. It was like stuff that was intertwining that was just really weird, almost like it wanted me to know, like really. It's really strange to say that, but that's just my opinion,
Wow, it's like you're caught in an episode of the Twilight Zone, man.
It felt like it. I'll tell you that. It felt.
Well, who dug this thing out and recovered it? What's those construction people?
It was the construction workers, and there's video of it.
But why
they did it?
But why were they up there doing that?
They were building a road that goes near that area. So they were kind of like prospecting, if you will, and they were like, they were just kind of seeing where I guess the best spot would be, and then they found this like branches on top, like these like a stick pile. They started removing the sticks, and they saw like what looked to be like this part of the top of the cavern.
Yep.
And then they started digging it out, and then they found. That's what they found. Yeah.
God, they must have been.
And Eric, you're crazy enough to go inside, though.
I mean,
you're seeing the space, and it could be anything could be in there. Yeah. The monster could still be alive. Something could still be alive in there, and you go in there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I get nightmares to this day thinking about what could have happened if that door would have locked. No one would have been able to find us.
Oh yeah,
absolutely not. We wouldn't have been able to get out.
No way.
Yeah. I have it pulled up here, Alex. I don't know if I need to play it or what I need to do.
Yeah, and David Ellis, just one last comment. David Ellis said that Mosler from 1867 to their final days in 2001, they produced some of the finest safes and vaults in the world. Go ahead.
Took money to get this done.
Oh, God, yes.
So this is inside of the cave here. This is like one of the, I believe one of the corners, I think.
Oh, there's the window.
Yes, there's one of the windows.
So we can certainly see it's at least 7
foot
cut.
Up. That was a cut-in window.
Yeah, it was sawed in. You can see the saw mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
you can see some of the mortar.
Let me pull up.
Is that a wire? Or what is that? Rebar?
Oh yeah. It was like a a wire. Yeah, a wire they had going through there. I don't know if it was a wire. I think it might have been like twine or something. It was weird. Yeah. It was it went there and then it went into the ground.
What?
Yeah. It went there and then we went into the ground. Didn't have an end we could find to it.
Okay, I'm not gonna sleep because of all these interesting mysteries. What in the world is the wire doing in there? And then going into the ground.
Yeah,
it looked like it leads outside.
No, it goes into the ground. It went into the ground. Yeah.
Gosh.
Let me see if I can pull up another
Like,
one.
are we talking like a power cable or?
I don't know if it was a power cable. It looked pretty old to be a power cable.
Okay.
It was definitely, I don't know if it was like a thick thread or if it was just a
You mean like a steel thread or a
it
rebar?
could have been a steel thread. Yeah, rebar would have been good too. Yeah. That could have been, yeah.
Was it flexible? I mean, you could bend it a little bit.
It was malleable. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me do this one here. Yeah. There was just so much that we couldn't figure out. I don't know if it might be a little dark, but so that was us walking around inside, and I think at one point we showed the bones and stuff. Maybe not this one, but we were very ill prepared for this. We were.
You've only been in there one time.
I've only been in there once. This was the only time I went in there.
Oh my God, Eric! I would have been back every day.
Really? No, you're braver than me.
Oh man.
Well, you say that now, Doug, but once you're there in the presence, it just creeps you out, man.
Oh,
just like,
I know, but
like I felt like someone was behind me the entire time. Like while we found this thing, like it felt like we shouldn't be there. You know, it gave me that feeling. Like,
well, my whole life is I was devoured by curiosity.
Yeah. Well, you probably got a little bit more. You probably got a little bit more of the guts than I do, man.
So no evidence of anyone living in there.
No, I mean just some wood. You know, like I think that wood might have been, original. I think that wood was to cover up some of the crevices there, some of the holes. Honestly, is what I was thinking. Maybe even to support some work while they were standing. I don't know.
That is nuts.
Okay, now somebody made a comment that locks maybe were moved to the outside. Keep in mind, Eric said there are no marks on the inside of the door.
No, there isn't. I might have a picture of the inside.
So that means those locks were never on the inside.
No, there was nothing like that. I might have another one of the inside here. Of the inside of the door. Give me a second.
Oh, well, creepy as hell. You was seeing scratches on the other side of the door.
No, I didn't see any scratches. Yeah, but it's really weird. Like they have.
Oh God, that would have topped it off, Eric, if there would have been claw marks.
Oh, yeah, right.
God. On the inside of the door, big deep claw marks.
Well, actually, looking at it now, there are some little indentations there that I'm seeing.
Oh God.
Let me pull this one up.
Eric, I'm getting on a plane tomorrow.
What? Are you coming over here?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my goodness. All right, let me see.
I don't think you realize the importance of what you found.
I don't think I do, to be honest with you. Again, I was just trying to
look at that. Look at that big dent.
There's a big dent in the door.
Nice.
Yeah, right there.
Jesus.
Let me play this.
Oh, look at those dents. What do you mean no marks? Holy man.
Yeah, you're right. It's been a while since I've looked at it. Again, I try to keep this out of my mind.
Something was trying to get out.
There is some dents on the door. There are some dents on the door.
Nice.
So this took a lot of work to build, guys. It took effort.
A lot of work to dent that door like that. Look at the size of that steel door.
Yeah.
And if you're going to build a bomb shelter, you're going to have filters. You're going to have, electric fan. It's just not going to be built like this.
But I mean, it's that if you guys want to see like the whole thing walking around in there, it's in the documentary, and we go pretty deep in there.
Watch the doc.
We show like as soon as you open the door, there's like a entrance you could go down into. My buddy's trying to go down there in the documentary, and I'm like, dude, don't do it. We got to come back. We'll come back.
Yeah.
You didn't run home, Eric. Get better equipment. Go right back there. Go see night vision, stuff like that, and go deeper in there.
Well, the thing is, if it wasn't for the bodies, I might, but there's actually bodies popping up not far from this spot. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe the bodies are everybody that's discovered the
this area
shelter. The Bigfoot prison.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never seen anything else like that, honestly. No, it's up to you guys. I mean, I still have some, I'd like to talk about like the coyote stuff as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's change the topic.
Well, so after the documentary came out, I pretty much kind of became the unofficial Bigfoot guy in my area. So people were reaching out to me with some really amazing stories, and there were a lot of stories. But for me, it's like the ones that came up with the data, the pictures, the videos, and all that type of stuff was really key. And this researcher had reached out to me, brilliant researcher from Central Texas, flies really under the radar here. And he had came to the area trying to disprove the stuff that was going on. And the opposite happened here. He actually went to an area that had a report of a sighting that took place, and he found a trackway. And at the end of this trackway is a barbed wire, steel post and a barbed wire fence. It's bent like a banana. And that, if you guys are familiar with those, steel posts, it takes a lot of effort to do that. A man would not be able to bend a steel post like that. You wouldn't even be able to get it in the ground if you were using a post pounder with it like that. So the way that happened was really strange. I think there's a picture of that as well, Alex.
And wasn't there a huge amount of very strange vandalism at the graveyard or the cemetery?
Yeah, absolutely.
The crypts.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Yeah, the thing that pounded in that crypt.
Yeah, and the thing with
a lot of power.
The thing with that is like there was no indications of tools used. Like
right.
if they were using a hammer, you'd see hammer marks.
First thing obviously. I look for. Yep.
Yeah, you'd see hammer marks. But this was a gigantic crypt that looked like it was just beaten in. In. More than one big tombstones that were just snapped in half, like someone.
Hold on. You guys are voted the safest city in America or whatever, and you got this crap going down.
Yeah, and he's got
right. You got dead bodies floating in rivers. Bigfoot allegedly in a prison. You got a cemetery that's got God knows what going on.
Yeah.
And
no, Joel. Picture gravestones snapped in two.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, then.
It's with no tool marks visible. There's absolutely
ready to go there, Joel.
Yeah, let's go. Let's we should be fine.
Yeah.
Safest city and all.
Put aside the 16,000-year-old body they found. Put aside the Roman coin they found.
Or the new bodies they found.
Or the new bodies. Yeah,
up.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
It's like it's like a paranormal spot on steroids, essentially. It's unbelievable. It's really crazy.
Aside from all this we got going on, don't worry about the bodies. We just won't publish anything. We're safe. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yep. You got the FBI. But so the graveyard damage, for sure, there were no tool marks on any of the I looked, I saw it, and I could see no tool marks.
No.
There were also, weren't there some gravestones that were just lifted out?
There was one or two that looked like they had been, you could see the bottom of it, like someone wrapped their arms and pulled it out. Yeah.
Jeez.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are thick tombs, tombstones. They're very thick, no tool mark. It literally looks like someone just punched it. Or
it was interesting because the guy that you had in your doc, he just kind of instinctively knew there was something weird. This was something very powerful that did this.
And that was right off of Harryman Road. That cemetery is right off of
Road. Then you add that in. Harryman Road.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, right off of Harryman Road. And he was one of the first civilians on site there. He was there when the cops had been there after it was reported there was damage going on there.
What did the cops do?
They didn't do anything. They just, it's kids. It's kids playing around.
Kids bashing in 1 foot thick stone structures with their bare hands.
Well, the tomb is like crazy because that was a big old tomb and it was just crumbled. Like someone was just like battering that thing.
Well, I think it looked like 1 pound to me.
It could have been, could have been.
Yeah, it looked like just one big blow.
Yeah. It's like I said, you take into account all the weird stuff, and
you didn't tell us about the coyote.
Well, okay. So the steel thing that was bent. That's from the same researcher. He was off the Brushy Creek, closer to the Balcones Canyon lands, this natural preserve I was telling you about. And he was in this area that he frequents, and he said this time that he went, it looked like it had been torn up, like someone had taken their dad's truck out there and just really destroyed. A bunch of teenagers took their dad's trucks and just destroyed this really beautiful area. So while he was up there walking, he discovered, I think Alex has the picture for this one. He discovered a coyote carcass that was not only tied into a knot, but it was pulled inside out and tied into a knot. And you can see that, and yeah, that's the close up of it right there. So those jaws are the wrong way. That's not how the jaws are supposed to be.
I'd say.
Yeah. And that little ball right there, that's the inside that was pretty much pulled out.
So the jaw's been flipped inside out.
It's upside down. Yeah, you can see that.
Oof.
Yeah, and there should be another one there that kind of gives you the whole thing. You can see the knot in the other picture. It's literally tied into a knot. I've never seen that of any other, animal or anything like that before.
Hey, Eric, that's not normal.
No, that's not.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, no.
You
So
can see
there it is.
You can see the knot. You can see the knot right
Tied
there.
in a knot.
Mm-hmm.
There was another. I don't know. I know it wasn't you, Eric, but there was another guy where they found like a coyote graveyard.
Okay.
Of just hundreds of coyotes that had been killed in weird ways. And I don't know. I don't know. Did I ever tell you my coyote story?
I don't know if it was you or not.
Well,
I've heard about like squirrels being tied into knots. That's another thing.
Yeah, I've heard about snakes,
okay,
squirrels, weasels. I've heard all sorts of animals tied in a knot and like left on people's doorsteps.
That's insane.
Okay. So we had rode through one area with our horses. Everything was fine. Trail was normal. Come back, and all of a sudden we got hit with this horrible stink. It was just really thick. Yeah. So, I mean, I literally had to cover my face. It just smelled like rotten dead bodies, numerous rotten dead bodies. But yet, earlier in the day, it was fine. There was no smell. Also, we go a little farther, and there's a coyote on the trail. But he's laying on his side, and you could clearly see he was alive, but he couldn't move. We get up to him, we dismount, and you could clearly see his spine had been broken. There were handprints still in his fur. And it was laying there like it had been paralyzed and tossed on the trail for us to find it.
That's insane. Yeah, this was definitely meant to be found. This, this was like a signal, a sign, I don't know.
I don't even think a man could do anything like that.
I don't know. I don't think so. Tied into a knot is one thing, but that's like turned inside out. Everything is reversed,
Let's turn the jawbones inside out.
Yeah.
Tie the thing, and that took great strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine a human going, yeah, we got nothing better to do tonight. Let's go out and tie a coyote into a knot.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do this for a good time.
Yeah.
In hope somebody finds it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Faster Man wants to get a hold of that picture. Yeah, we'll make sure you get it. Just PM me.
Yeah, I don't know any coyote experts. I would like, I have hunted in the past a little bit, but I've never encountered anything like this,
And it didn't look like, the ribs were there, correct? I think I see rib
yeah, that looks to me like ribs there. Yeah.
So it wasn't the skin. It wasn't just somebody skinned it and then
you can see the feet popping out of there too. Like it's all of it's in a weird location. You don't really see much fur because it's inside out.
Okay, Alex, that's enough.
We're not sleeping tonight. Thanks, Eric.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, remember, Eric, it's garbage night for me. I got to take the garbage.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I always wait till like 3 a.m, then I take it out.
Let's get a camera with you or something this time.
Oh my God, my head will be on a swivel tonight.
Strap a GoPro.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you guys can see what I'm dealing with down here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You need help, Eric.
I might need help. I might need some help.
I think you're in over your head.
Well, I've been really wanting to do a night walk down Harryman Road because, honestly, to be honest with you guys, there was an incident that happened, and now the Harryman Road is closed for 9 months. It's been closed for 9 months.
Really?
And, it's closed right now. It's been closed, and it was after it had just opened up. It just
but not
opened
for
up.
Construction.
They claim it's for construction, but I did a live stream where I walked down there.
Nothing going on.
Nothing going on. Absolutely nothing going on.
Oh my God.
And I've been wanting to do a night walk down there, but I don't have anyone with the stones to go down there with me.
Oh my God.
So I got to figure that out.
Doug will go with you.
I'll go with you.
Let's do it, man.
Okay. So there was also strange lights seen
Yes.
You have one witness that talks about this thing following him. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That one was really weird. That was right off the Harryman Road as well at dusk. And a lot of these encounters we hear are at dusk for whatever reason that is.
Huh.
And yeah, it was and again, it's like they want me to know this information. It's really strange. I was out there filming some of the caves along Harryman Road, and an elderly couple came up and asked me what I was doing. And I told them I was, I'm working on a documentary, and then the guy was like, I asked him, have you guys seen anything like that? He told me one story, but it was interesting. But the next thing he told his wife was like, well, show him that picture of that weird green thing you got, And so the woman pulls out her phone and shows me this image, and it's a green orbish thing, right behind the man. Looks like it's following him as he's walking down this embankment. And it's a green orb, and it looks like something is coming out of it or something is in it. It's really weird. I can't, it's in the documentary.
Well, I can attest that we saw a bright green orb, it was sparks coming off it on top of that.
Oh my God.
Coming out of the airport and headed right for my car, went maybe 10 feet from the windshield,
That's
and
insane.
then headed off into the forest.
Yeah, and that's another account I've heard. I've heard of a green light that a guy thought was a flashlight. He thought it was of someone walking in the woods, and it just went up and into the air and faded away.
Well, the weird thing is, Eric, is Yvette goes, we should follow it.
Whoa.
And I went,
what?
we should go in the, and I'm thinking, are you nuts?
That's what he wants you to do.
I'm not going to go into the woods following some green sparking orb. It had like Buck Rogers sparks coming off
That's
it.
insane.
And it was probably the size of a basketball.
Yeah,
Just
and
bizarre, but bright green. And then once in a while
Right.
it would change colors to blue, to yellow.
yeah, that's insane.
And it was going slow. And I'm like, oh my God.
No, I heard of another account where a guy was telling me that he was on the Harryman Road years ago when it was being worked on, and it was closed at the time. And he was down there with a buddy of his, and he saw what he thought was a car coming, but they were green lights, and the road was closed. They had like big cinder blocks, to block off the road. And so he said they were so scared they like ducked, and he said they ducked off the road. And then he's like, wait a minute, the road's closed. What,
Yeah.
why are we hiding and stuff? And they went back to look, and it was gone. It was gone. There was nothing there.
Eric, I just know there's a little tunnel that goes from the secret structure with the 3-inch thick door. The tunnel's underground for 2 miles and pops out on Harryman Road.
There are some unbelievable cave structures near Harryman Road. Some of the most amazing caves in Harryman Road. And a lot of these caves, Doug, I might have a picture of that as well. A lot of these caves look like, in my opinion, that something had tried to cover it up from the inside of these little tubes and stuff like that. Like it looks like someone had almost piled rubble from the inside to peel it off. Really strange. But the Harryman Road area, sinkholes, caves, you have to really watch where you're walking in that area. You'll get an ankle trapped, or you'll fall into a sinkhole. You have to be really careful about that.
Well, I have one bit of advice for you, Eric. Don't do anything alone.
I don't do anything alone.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. And you're smart.
No, I don't do anything alone. It's hard for me to do anything after, the sun goes down, to be honest with you. It's,
Tony Harris, I love the quote. He goes, it's this quote from President Ronald Reagan: "The scariest thing ever. I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would really like, if you guys have any theories, I would love to hear that, because I'm over here like my brain is pretty much tied into a knot at this point.
You in the
yeah, and and I can see you live there.
Yeah.
And so it gets a little creepy when you can't escape. Well, I can fly home and I'm fine. I'm 1,300 miles from Brushy Creek.
Yeah.
But for you can't.
Right.
So I totally get it. I get it. But man, I'll tell you did a bang up job. And I will say this: if you guys don't like this show, there's not a show in the world, a podcast that you'd like in delving into the mysteries and paranormal.
Yeah, I mean, this one, like I said, it's like it's like Skinwalker Ranch on steroids almost.
It is.
I mean, it's like the bodies, the caves, the lights, it's the FBI involvement. Like you can't dispute that. That's a fact.
I wonder how many coyotes that have been tied in knots, you haven't found.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I found other animals that were, they weren't tied into a knot, but they were like, I'll give you one instance. I myself, while researching the area, ran across, I was going down a trail with one of my buddies, me and him, going to a trail. We get to an area we tried to get to. The brush is too thick, so we turn around on the same trail we're walking. We just passed through there. And there's a black cat's head with the fur and everything, with a spinal cord. Right in the middle of where we just walked from. Okay. And so we saw that and we got the hell
That's
out
creepy.
of there. We were like, let's go. We're out of here.
Okay,
We
the
left
spinal.
that.
So this was a fresh kill.
I don't know if it was the cat's head was pristine. The
Okay,
cat's
so it
head
was pretty fresh.
Yeah,
Then.
it was a black cat's head, and I still remember the facial expression on the cat.
So it was torn.
It looked like something just ripped off. Just the spinal cord was left.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Well, you have to realize, and everybody listen to this, because a lot of people don't realize that gorillas have been seen ripping dogs in two.
I'd never heard that.
They have these little tracking saludo dogs that they use them for tracking gorillas.
Okay.
And on occasion, they've been grabbed and torn right in two in front of the trackers
That's unbelievable.
by gorillas.
Yeah.
So-
Jeez.
So it's a
I would hate to see
behavior.
that.
So it's a behavior that, apes obviously have.
That's
It would be
terrifying.
interesting for you to go back to the steel door place just to see if it's
Yeah,
changed.
I've everybody's been wanting, where is that? Where is that? Show
Yeah.
tell me about it. Like I most likely I probably will go back at some point when I'm ready to go back.
when you get the courage to go back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably pretty. Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't intending to find it. I thought it was another day of searching that was just going to go to waste. Like, oh yeah, not going to find it this time either. But we found it, man. And we were like, well, let's see what's inside.
Yeah, it's like,
crazy.
now what do we do?
Yeah, exactly.
You find it. Now what do we do?
And it was getting close to dark, so it's like I didn't want to drive home to get more gear. I had my camera. I had some stuff that I
It was
needed.
kind of like that moment where the dog catches the car. Okay, I got it. Now what do I do?
now?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What do we do next?
Yeah.
Right.
And I was going to mention for our podcast listeners, I'm going to read just a couple of comments because they're pertinent. It says Cryptid's Canada lady said she saw, oh God, they're blinked off. Dang it. She saw
Here we go.
hides
Here we go.
tied together in the woods.
Interesting.
Oh, there we
Very
go.
Interesting.
And then there was another one. There was another person that said, didn't so-and-so find a coyote tied in a knot too somewhere else? It was tied together like a washcloth, they described it as.
Okay.
So the relationship between coyotes and Bigfoots is obviously theoretical,
Right.
but I've witnessed some weird things myself on numerous occasions where there's got to be something going on, or I suspect it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looked like it was trying to make a statement. Leaving it in the area it did, tying it into a knot it's a brutal thing. It wasn't happy with what had happened to their area or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Really weird.
It was a threat.
It seemed like
Well,
a threat.
there was one more thing. There was a footprint we
Yes,
took. Do you want? We're out of time, but we can go over a little bit. Do you have that photo, either Alex? I don't know if you got it.
I think I sent it to Alex. Yeah, that was a weird
Footprint's
one.
pretty significant too.
That was a weird one. That was actually February 13th, right before Valentine's Day.
Is this the one?
Yeah,
No.
that's it right there. That's
Oh.
it. Yeah, that's the one.
Well, there was one in the mud.
That's the one. I think that's the one. That was a mud footprint on a stone right there. Yeah, and that was February 13th, right before Valentine's Day. And it's significant because on Valentine's Day we had a freeze that lasted about a week, so it was really, really cold that day. It was a tiny, tiny footprint.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't think there would be a kid walking barefoot in freezing weather at that
No.
time. And there was only one print.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that's
there was another print I found from that area that's
Okay.
actually in the mud.
okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that was one that was found in 2017.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when that's when there was a lot of activity going on. I'm telling you, 2017 was like the year the FBI
Is
came
that
out
so?
here.
I think it's no. Go down, Alex. I saw it.
I don't know if I included it in this one.
Oh no.
Yeah, because that wasn't my picture. That was
Never
someone
mind.
else's
Never
picture.
mind.
Yeah, but it's out there.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was
Crazy.
impressed by the footprint. It looked legit.
Yeah, there was a lot of activity in 2017. So much so that again, the FBI was out here. You know, that's not disputable. That's a fact. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
And
there's
we
something
know
going
who
on.
sent that. We know who sent that. We can trace that back to someone that's in control of classified information. You know, we know that.
Absolutely.
Eric, again, how can people see your documentary? Where can they get it?
Yeah, the documentary is on Amazon and it's on Tubi if you guys want to check it out.
Awesome.
It's on there. And
Awesome.
yeah, and I'm working on a follow-up. More than likely, I'll probably be writing a book because a lot of people have asked about, about that. So I'll be working on that. And again, the next portion is going to have, I would really like to interview the FBI agent. I would really like to interview the chief of police. I'd like to interview the families of these people. I'd like to go back to the cave with the proper equipment.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the follow because, again, in 2021, there was another body they found. In 2022, Friday the 13th, there was another body found. So it hasn't stopped. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, it's an ongoing investigation.
To tell you guys,
but Eric, no foul play.
No foul play. Yeah.
It's
and
still
the scary part is the year they found the 3 bodies, we were named Safest Cities in America. This year we were named Safest Cities in America again.
Well,
they've already found 1 body. They've already found one.
But there's no foul play.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Make sure you guys tune in. Check this documentary out. Eric did a bang up job on it. It is creepy as hell. It's crazy. And we look forward to hearing more from you, Eric.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks a ton for coming
Great
on.
show.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like it. Hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell anyone that'll listen. They got to tune into this stuff. One of the best shows out there because of Mr. Doug and Alex over there doing such a great job of producing. Till next time, guys, we're out of here, right? I think, right, Alex? All right.